They say this is a big rich town.
I just come from the poet's part. All right, y'all, we here. This is episode 3 of Power, book 2. But hold on, I'm in a different location. I came back to visit my parents, so this setup we're only gonna see this weekend. I leave tomorrow to go back, but I'm a little late on Power, just because there's a lot of running around. But I still was gonna try to get this to you. And I got the bare minimum. I got my webcam and this little TV over here. So we're going to try to make this a recap if we can. But this is episode 3. First off, shout out to the notification gang. If it wasn't for y'all, hey, we wouldn't be here. And if you're new to the channel, you like my content, and you like Power, subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. Get something every time I upload. But this is episode 3. I'm not going to hold you up. Let's jump right into it. So the episode starts off with Drew and Kane going around collecting money. So their job for the organization and the family is, of course, we know Kane is the muscle. We weren't too sure what Drew is, but it's turning out, it's looking like Drew is just the laid back one. He's the more understanding and forgiving one. They go into his shop and the guy doesn't have the money. Kane goes in there and starts whooping on him. He's trying to pay, like, hey man, I don't have the money this week. I can pay you next week. Kane's whooping on him. And Drew pretty much stops it. Like, he doesn't say anything to Kane, but he tells the guy, look, you got till Friday to pay. Or, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to stop Kane from whooping on you. Kane, he's just straight anger going in there, guns blazing, swinging, knocking people out. And we can tell Drew's more laid back. So he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's more reserved. And then, of course, we know Kane is like Kanan. He's just wild. But once they get to the house, they're all just chilling around Drew, Kane, Diana, and then Mama Monet comes in. She's asking them what are they doing, and they just chilling around. But it turns out there's another organization called GTG. Just like any other young rappers we know today, they're on their phones. Everything they doing is being broadcast. And it turns out they work for Monet. And she's like, hey, y'all have to get them off of the internet because if our name or anything gets brought up with this, we all going down. So we're about to find who they're going to kind of probably be beefing with. Or, hey man, if we're going to be supplying you guys products, stay off the internet. Now, we all know how Davis feels about this whole situation, like this whole case. So he brought Tasha in to talk to her like, if we're going to get this Kingpin statute dismissed, you're going to have to prove to us because Davis already didn't want this case. He didn't know about all these extra murders that are getting thrown in. And now Terry Silver's name is being brought up. Saxe is trying to use Tasha as she told Ghost to kill Silver, just like she told Tommy to kill Ghost. So now he's like, man, we're going to have to prove this because you're not telling me everything. So you're going to have to figure out how you're going to convince people. And what Tasha is saying is, I didn't order any of this. Silver loved her. But not Saxe, Davis is telling her, well, you're going to have to figure it out. And what Tasha's trying to explain to him, if you can just get me some mothers on the stand, like if we can get mothers in the jury, they'll believe me that I wasn't in fear of ghosts and I didn't know anything about the organization. But Davis is already like, man, this is a lot of work, Tasha. I don't know if I want to do this. Me personally, if the money wasn't coming in for Tariq, I wouldn't be doing it either. But they still owe $450,000, so we're going to see how this plays out. Well, we all know it's nothing new with Tariq. Another day, another late day to class. Tariq's never on time anywhere, so once he comes into the class, the professor's like, do they have clocks in you guys' dorm? And Tariq is like, yeah. So pretty much, he's like, okay, you came in late today, Tariq. Did you actually read the book on Socrates? And Tariq is like, yeah, I read it. Now, this is where they already been clashing. We already know that. And Tariq pretty much explains everything that happened to Ghost is what happened to Socrates. In his perspective of it was like, it was nothing good out of it. You know, Socrates made a mockery of everybody and thought he was smarter than everything. And in the end, he ended up dead. But the professor was pretty much telling him, well, you know, if you're just going to read the book and come up with whatever ideas you want, then maybe this isn't for you. The whole time, Jabari is there watching. And everyone's looking at Tariq like, what is wrong with this kid? After the class, he goes out in the hallway with Loren, and she's pretty much telling him, hey, you have to say what he wants you to say if you're going to pass this class. This is college, man. You can't just be in here doing whatever you want. You have to pass this class, bro, or you're done, man. And if Tariq gets kicked out of school, then what happens to Zeke? Then the whole show is going to be off. Tariq, you got to get right, man. Do what you need to do. Now, we remember that Tasha received a cell phone and a plan B from Lorenzo. She finally gets to give the inmate the plan B. Now, while she's sitting there, there's a maintenance man and he's just watching over it. He looked kind of suspicious, and it turns out he pulls out his phone. Now, I don't know who he's with, but he's taking a picture of Tasha talking to this lady that she gave the plan B to. While Tasha and her are talking, she's pretty much like, "Why are you helping me out? There's no friends in here. This isn't prison. We're all here temporarily. So why are you making friends here?" And Tasha's pretty much like, "Well, while I'm here, I need to know how to move around, and obviously you do. You know the guards. So I need your help just like I'm helping you out. So I hope this, you know what I'm saying, I do something for you, you can do something for me." So she's pretty much telling her, "Hey, look, man, I'm going to be in here for a little bit. I'm in here for murder. I'm going to need as much help as I can get." While all this is going on, oh, man, the CEO that Tasha hates comes in, and you know she about to do some hating. But the maintenance man, he has to be connected with someone because he stops her from even going over there. So it's like he kind of protected Tasha. We don't know who exactly he is yet, but he's going to be very significant. As Tasha's leaving, she's calling herself Tasha Green, and the lady's like, "Nah, I heard something about a St. Patrick." And Tasha's like, "Nah, that's just a name that's going to stick with me for a little bit." Everyone knows who St. Patrick is. He is running for vice lieutenant governor. So they like St. Patrick, so she knows Tasha is bigger than what Tasha's alluding to. I was right. The maintenance man, he works with Loren, so he comes in there, he's talking to him about Tasha, and he shows her the picture. And Lorenz is like, "Did she use the plan B?" He's like, "Nah, he gave it to another inmate." So now Lorenz is wondering, what the hell? I just snuck a phone in here, a plan B, and she's not using it? Okay, I got to figure out what's going on with her. The maintenance man leaves, and Lorenz gets a call from Monet, and he tells him, "Hey, you gotta get out of here. I gotta take this." So he's pretty much he gets a call from Monet, and she's telling him, "Hey, these GTG boys, they wilding out." And Lorenz is saying, "Hey, man, they're one of our biggest suppliers, and plus, the guy's dad took a bullet for me. So we can't just cancel them out because I pretty much owe him my life, and I have to make sure his son is straight. Go over there and handle the situation. But don't send Kane because Kane is a loose cannon. We don't know what he's going to do. Send Drew over there. He'll be able to talk to him. And plus, I want him to run the business. So I need him to go over there and try to figure things out and how to lower all the attention on the organization because we need them to make money. And like I said, man, I'm forever in debt because his father took a bullet for me. So we about to see Drew get into the game. We've seen earlier he wasn't as tough as Kane. We're going to see how this plays. Tariq and Zeke, they're starting to clash. We already know Tariq has to do his book report over Socrates, and we know Zeke ain't doing a damn thing. He's supposed to be playing basketball. He's still on academic probation, and he tells Tariq, "Hey, man, I think I got a book report due tomorrow." And Tariq's like, "Man, what are you doing, dog? You got to tell me. You got to do some kind of work. I know I'm here tutoring you, but I have a report due that same day." But Tariq's pretty much like, "All right, bro, I got you, man. Don't worry about it. I need you to answer a few questions for me, though. You think Monet would let me, you know what I'm saying? I want permission to date, you know what I'm saying, Diana." And Zeke's like, "Nah, Monet ain't gonna have that, you know what I'm saying? She's very protective of her daughter." So Tariq's like, I can see that. And Zeke's like, "Man, so you got that report for me?" Tariq's like, "All right, man, I can get it done for you." You already know Tariq is swamped, and in his class, they are already tripping on him for being laid off. Tasha gets a surprise visit from the CEO, and she doesn't know what's going on because she don't have no court dates or anything. But they throw her in the van, they take her over to the courthouse. When she gets there, there's wardrobe and makeup there, so she's getting dressed. She doesn't even know what's going on. It turns out Davis set up a mock trial. Everyone there, the jury, the judge, they all signed a non-disclosure agreement. So pretty much, Davis was telling her, "Hey, you have to prove it to a jury that you're innocent." And he said, "Treat this like a real trial." So what he does is he gets up there and he asks her a question. And she runs through and she tells a story of how she met Ghost at 19. They got pulled over. They had a gun. She had to put it on her dress. She was pregnant with the twins, Tariq and Rainey. And she's like, "Man, this whole time I've been scared for my life. So I've always just been doing whatever Ghost wanted me to do. I was young. I was an accountant. But what Davis did was, all right, we're going to have you cross-examined because you did a good job with that. And the closest person we can have to cross-examine you is no other than Tamika. Tamika comes in, and we already know Tamika and Sax work together. So she knows the case just as good as Sax, and she knows how Sax is going to come after her. But when I tell you Tamika ripped Tasha apart, talking about you got Silver killed because it was business, you had Ghost go do it, you knew exactly where the body was, you had Tommy come and kill Ghost. Tasha, you knew about all of this. You set up accounts because you were an accountant. You did all of this. You lived lavishly. You bought all your clothes. And Tamika is tearing Tasha apart. And she's just looking at everybody like, I didn't do this. This isn't true. Ghost was in charge. I'm not the queen pin. So it's not looking good. And it turns out that everybody on the jury says Tasha was guilty. So when you hear the story, when we look at it, if you didn't know, you would think Tasha is guilty for all this too. Ordered the hits, had Ghost moving all the work. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But this mock trial shows Tasha that this is a Fed case. This isn't going to be easy like you think it is. You're not outsmarting. Monet and Diana, they headed to the game. Now, Tariq's been texting Diana, and we already know he's feeling her. So, you know what I'm saying? He just wants to tell her, hey, I want to meet up with you guys, and I want to thank your mom for looking out for my mom. But once they get to the game, they just walk right by Tariq like nothing happened. Monet sees him. She's like, oh, hey, Tariq. So they go into the game. She doesn't want anything to do with Tariq because she doesn't trust Tariq. She doesn't know Tariq. So she just walks by. When she gets there, security's like, how many do you want? And she's like, it's just two of us here to see Z. So Tariq is like, what? So she goes through and she's talking to security, and Diana starts talking to Tariq. And he's just like, man, I want to thank you and stuff. And she's pretty much telling Tariq, hey, my mom's going through something right now. You can't really talk to her. But what they don't know is once they get to the game, Zeke is still on academic probation. He can't even play that night. And he's actually getting into it with one of his teammates because his teammate that's his backup is actually starting tonight. You know what I'm saying? He's holding it down. So all the scouts that are there to see Zeke, he told Zeke, everyone's forgetting about you, man. They want to know about me. So, hey, it's next man up, unless Zeke can get right. But he's putting too much work on Tariq. So, I don't know how this is going to pan out between the two. Now it's the time for Drew to step up. Drew goes over to the GTG's little hangout spot. It looks like a little warehouse, but they having a party. As soon as they come in, you know what I'm saying? Little Guap, he in there. He got a gun, he had some coke on it. They partying, they wilding out. So, when Drew gets there, he starts telling little Guap, hey, look, man, my mom's, she's sending you credit. Like, props. You've been doing it. You a top earner for us. Let's keep it up. But let's keep it down on social media, man, because the feds might be watching and we can't get none of us jammed up like this. So pretty much these are two families that working together, but Lorenz is on top, like I said. But this is kind of like, you could say a godson, but it's not really a godson. And Drew's just laid back. The whole time he didn't know that Kane was told by Monet to follow him, just his backup. So things start getting hot. Lil Guapo, he gets on his phone like, yeah, man, y'all chilling with us. And he tries to turn it to get Drew on camera. Drew knocks it down. Drew has a gun in the back of his pants. He get ready to pull it out. But guess who comes in and stops it? Kane does. And Kane was like, hey, man, let's, let's make sure everything's straight. Lil Guapo's like, nah, we all good. Because they all know Kane is crazy. So he tells Drew, hey, let's get out of here. But once Drew leaves, Kane pulls his gun out, starts shooting in the air, shooting at the wall, and they go running outside. When they get outside, Ramirez and his partner, they pull up, and he sees Kane and Drew, and he's like, oh, man. Kane and Drew run away from the cops, and they get behind a little canister, and Drew's like, man, we're not shooting no cop. Kane was like, yeah, we're not. I am. So he pulls his gun out. He's ready to do it. Ramirez, he pulls up and he sees his officer. He's like, oh, man, this is going to be trouble. So he's telling his officer, his partner, hey, come on, get out of here. Because he's still protecting the kids because he messes with Monet. So he actually saved this cop's life because Kane was about to, bing! Like I said, Ramirez, he's looking out for Monet because that's the, you know what I'm saying? He's the boyfriend. So he already wants her to leave Lorenzo, but she's not going to do it because of the power and protection that comes with that name. But he's like, hey, look, we pulled up. I seen your son, and look what we see on the internet. Little Guap. Hey, y'all gonna have to stay off of social media because we're watching, man. We already have eyes on Lil Guap. We're not looking at y'all, but we're looking at Lil Guap. So stay off of social media. So then they start kissing and stuff and making up. But he's telling them exactly what Monet is trying to get them out there to do. Keep these young people off. That goes for y'all watching now. Stay off social media. Have fun. But don't show your personal life or any dirt that you're doing on social media, man. After the little mock trial, Davis is sitting there and his associate, she's like, hey, man, we need to drop this case. And Davis is like, I don't know, man. That was good. That was good what Tamika did. So he calls Tamika back in, says she owed him a favor. And he's pretty much like, well, you know what, Tamika? You did a good job. You know the case. You know Sachs. I want you to come work with us. And Tamika's pretty much like, nah, I ain't messing with this. But I will be waiting on my check for this. So go ahead and bring me that. And his associate's like, man, we need to drop this. And he's like, nah. In his head, he's like, I think I can get past this. If I can get Tamika to work with us and actually help us get by. Because that's the only way you can be able to do it. Since Tamika's just a lawyer now, you can have her help you because she already knows exactly what Sachs is trying to do, all the crooked stuff he has done, and she can use this stuff to help them and then say Sachs did this, Tasha talk about this. So Davis and Tamika might be the powerhouse team if you really think. Lorenzo and Monet, they have a conjugal visit, and he starts talking to her about the family and what he wants done. Now, Diana called her dad the other night and was like, Dad, I need you to do something for me. So this is what she was calling for. She asked him about college. So he's telling Monet, like, don't worry about GTG and all that. Let Monet go to college. We need to get Drew together because Drew's the one I want to run the organization. And Kane, he's just a loose cannon. We don't know what to expect from him. So she's pretty much like, I'm the one holding it down at the house while you're in here. So things are going to have to move how they move at the house because of me. And Lorenzo is pretty much like, I need you to do it this way. This is what I want. You know what I'm saying? Drew is in charge once all of this is done. And Kane is just going to be the muscle. I want Monet to go to school and do what she wants to do. Jabari's had a very busy day. First, he failed Tariq on his essay because Tariq didn't write the essay how he explained it in class to the professor. Tariq wrote the essay as doing what he had to do to get by, like Loren told him. And Jabari's like, this school didn't accept blacks coming into the school. They had to let us, they just pushed us in, so we've never been accepted. Don't conform, be you. So Tariq is like, if I'd have known that, I would have wrote it that way, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know how it works here. And he's just like, well, from here on out, he's pretty much hinting that be you, do things your way, man. Like, if that's how you feel, explain it. Later on that night, Jabari has a little house guest. It's a little lady, you know what I'm saying? Turns out she was a graduate student, one of his previous students. She's talking about how she read all his books. She read his first book while she was a teenager. Now she's adult. And he's like, we can't be doing this. She's filling them and everything. And he's like, we can't do this. You're a student. She's like, no, a graduate student. So they end up getting it on in the room. You know, Jabari, hey, he doing his thing. And lo and behold, Carrie comes into her office late for what reason? And then she hears some pounding on the wall. But then she's looking like, what's going on? My boy Jabari in the other room getting it cracking. Hold on. Jabari in the other room getting it on. You know what I'm saying? Got her against the door. Puts her against the wall and starts going to work. Carrie's here in the morning. And at that point, she just closes her laptops and leave. Your sponsor pretty much told you, hey, only business with him, nothing more. And Carrie, she just doesn't understand that, man. She just too easily attached. Tariq's talking to Zeke and trying to tell him, hey, you got to do some of your work, something. You just playing a video game. I need some help because I have a lot of work too. But I need you to do me a favor because I'm going to get your work done. Bring your aunt here. Monet ends up showing up and she's about to have this one-on-one with Tariq. Now, Tariq's talking to her and he's telling her, you know, he hands her a bag like, I don't know what you guys are doing because he doesn't know, but he's like, look, all this money here, she's looking at it like, I don't really need that. He's like, well, I made this in a couple hours. We can make a lot of money here. I just need a supplier. And Monet says, how can I trust you? Tariq's like, well, you trust me with Zeke and his grades. She was like, that's different. But you need a supplier. Okay. Look, if we're going to do this, you can't be staying with Zeke because Zeke is going to the NBA. That's what we're doing. I'm looking out for him to go to the NBA. So you're going to help him with his grades, and I might be able to supply you some stuff, but you have to move out of here. So what Tariq does, he moves in with Braden. Him and Braden have already got some prescription papers, so they can get all the scripts and they can sell pills on their own. They move into a room together, and they have a little panel that they can use as stash. Braden's dad used to use that room, so they could put their liquor in there and they could put their prescriptions to sell. So now Monet is about to become the connect for a young Tariq St. Patrick at the school, and they about to flood the market. Later that night, Tasha gets a call, so she thinks it's Tariq. She picks up. It's not Tariq. It's Lorenzo. And when he tells Tasha, listen, we don't know Tariq like that, but listen, Tariq works for us, and if he doesn't do everything we say, he's dead. Now, Tasha doesn't know who this is because she has a burner phone, and she's just like, what the hell did Tariq get into? If someone gets this number, this burner number, and says Tariq works for us. So now we're about to see how Tariq's going to play out with the Lorenzo family. It's going to be crazy. All right, that's episode 3 of Power Book 2, man. Comment below what you think. Do you think Tasha is actually going to be able to get up on stand and convince the jury that she didn't have anything to do with this and she was actually scared of Ghost and everything he had going on? Comment below and let me know. But that's episode 3. Like I said, this is the last time I'm going to be in this little situation. Came back visit my parents, my dad's 70th birthday. It was a good time here, but man, I couldn't miss out on the show. I didn't get it out early to you guys, but this is the best I could do with the limited time I had. This isn't even my webcam or I just have my laptop. Yeah. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. We're done. This is episode 3. Be here for next week. If you're new to the channel, if you like the content, like, comment, share, subscribe. Everything helps. We're on that grind to 5,000 subscribers. I think we need like 1,500 more, and we there. Let's make it happen by the end of, let's say by the end of, what is this, September? Okay, let's do it by the end of October. Let's aim for 5,000. But anyway, like, comment, share. Thanks for watching. I'm Moedotj.
Jimmy on a beat, boy.